Have you ever stopped to think why some men walk into a room and immediately attract all the female attention? What do they have that you haven't discovered yet? The answer will shock you. And no, it has nothing to do with money, looks, or social status. I'm about to reveal the secret that only 3% of men know and apply daily. A set of ancient techniques that were used by historical leaders to dominate not only territories, but also hearts and minds. Are you ready to finally understand what separates ordinary men from those who are truly magnetic to women? Imagine never being ignored again when she enters the same room as you. Imagine awakening that look of genuine interest, that curiosity. That makes her want to find out more about you. I'm not talking about manipulative techniques or cheap psychological games. I'm talking about a profound transformation in your masculine presence that will completely change how women respond to you. Before I reveal the first principle, I want you to truly understand what is at stake here. Most men spend their entire lives never understanding why they fail repeatedly with women. They blame external factors, when in reality, the problem has always been in one place: the absence of a truly magnetic masculine presence. A presence that isn't learned in regular dating advice videos. In the next few minutes, I will unveil the 4 fundamental pillars that will completely transform your ability to attract and keep female interest. If at any point you feel like this is exactly what you've been looking for, leave a like so this knowledge can reach other men who need this transformation. Let's get to what really matters. The first pillar is what I call absolute presence. It's frightening how 95% of men simply aren't present when interacting with a woman they desire. They are mentally rehearsing the next line, worried about the impression they are making, anxious for results. And do you know what women feel when they are in front of a man like that? Absolutely nothing special. Absolute presence is the art of being completely in the moment. When you talk to her, you are truly there. Body, mind, and energy totally focused on the now. Your eyes don't wander around the room looking for better options. Your mind isn't divided between her and 1,000 worries. You achieve an almost meditative state of total concentration on the present moment. Think about the last time you were totally absorbed in something you love doing. Maybe playing a sport, creating something, or immersed in an activity you dominate. Did you feel that sense of flow, of absolute control, of time suspended? That's the energy you need to bring to every interaction with a woman you want to attract. When you cultivate this absolute presence, something magical happens. In a world where everyone is permanently distracted, where attention is fragmented between smartphones and 1,000 thoughts, you become a powerful anomaly. You become the man who truly sees her. Not just looks, but sees. And very few people in her life truly see her. I'm going to share a specific technique I use with my students to develop this presence. It's what I call the 4-4-4 breathing. Before any important interaction with a woman, stop for 20 seconds. Inhale mentally, counting to 4. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Repeat one more time. This simple technique anchors your mind in the present moment, reduces anxiety, and amplifies your presence. Now I want you to understand something crucial. Absolute presence doesn't mean staring intensely at the woman like a predator observing prey. That would cause immediate discomfort. The presence I'm describing is relaxed, natural, but completely focused. It's like that teacher you respected in school who didn't need to yell to keep everyone's attention. His simple presence commanded respect. Next week, I challenge you to practice this absolute presence in all your interactions, not just with women. Notice how people start reacting differently to you, how they feel, even unconsciously, that they are in front of someone rare, someone who is truly present. If this first pillar is already opening your mind to a new way of approaching female attraction, leave your comment right now with the word presence. This helps me understand who is truly committed to this transformation. And let's move on to the second pillar, which is where most men make fatal mistakes without even realizing it. The second pillar that separates magnetic men from ordinary ones is what I call intentional polarity. To understand this powerful concept, I need you to grasp a fundamental truth about female attraction that almost no one talks about openly. Female attraction is not awakened by friendliness, kindness, or being a nice guy. These qualities might make her like you as a friend, but they will never awaken that visceral magnetism that makes her think about you when she's alone. Genuine female attraction is awakened by contrast, healthy tension, the polarity between masculine and feminine energies. I'll explain this directly. Feminine energy thrives in the presence of a solid, clear, masculine energy. I'm not talking about sexist or outdated behaviors. I'm talking about an authentic, conscious and centered masculinity, an energy that doesn't ask permission to exist, that doesn't apologize for being masculine. Intentional polarity means deliberately cultivating the most masculine aspects of your personality. It means having clarity of purpose, being decisive without being authoritarian, being protective without being controlling, being strong without being rigid. It means deeply understanding the delicate balance between firmness and flexibility. When you enter an interaction with a woman displaying this intentional polarity, something fascinating happens. Instead of desperately trying to please and impress, you simply exist in your full masculine energy. This instantly creates a field of natural attraction. She feels something different about you, something that 97% of the men she meets don't possess. A specific technique to develop this polarity is what I call decision without hesitation. When you are with a woman and any situation arises that requires a decision on where to go, what to do, which place to choose, don't fall into the trap of asking, "What do you prefer?" Or, "It doesn't matter to me, it's up to you." Make the decision with conviction, without arrogance but with clarity. "Let's go to this place. They have something special I want you to experience." Observe how she responds to this decisive energy. In most cases, she will feel a deep relief at being with a man who knows how to lead without dominating, who takes responsibility without controlling. This is the essence of intentional polarity. It's worth noting that this does not mean ignoring her desires or preferences. On the contrary, it means creating a safe space where she can relax into your masculine energy, knowing that you are in charge of the situation, but always attentive to her comfort and happiness. If you are gaining clarity on why your previous interactions with women might have failed, even when you did everything right, leave a like now. This understanding of polarity will completely change your game. And if this content is making sense to you, share it with that friend who urgently needs this transformation. Let's move on to the third pillar, where I will reveal the secret that makes a woman think about you constantly, even when you are not present. This is possibly the most powerful of the four pillars. The third pillar is what I call captivating emotional narrative. This is the component that makes you stay in her mind long after the conversation has ended. And it works on a deep psychological principle that few people understand. The human mind, especially the female mind, is naturally attracted to stories that awaken authentic emotions, not by facts, achievements, or possessions, but by narratives that create a genuine emotional connection. When most men try to impress a woman, they fall into the trap of listing accomplishments, talking about their career, showing off their knowledge, and they wonder why, even having done everything right, she doesn't feel that magnetic attraction. Captivating emotional narrative is the art of sharing parts of your life story and your essence in a way that creates deep, emotional bridges. Showing through carefully chosen personal stories who you truly are, what values guide your life, what struggles have shaped your character. I'm going to share a specific technique within this pillar, the strategic vulnerability method. It works like this. During a conversation, you share something genuinely personal, something that reveals a real vulnerability, but that simultaneously demonstrates strength of character. For example, a moment when you faced a great challenge, felt fear but moved forward anyway, or a situation where you recognized you made a mistake, learned from it and became a better person. This strategic vulnerability creates something rare in modern interactions: true authenticity. In a world of superficial interactions, you become the man who had the courage to show something real. And this is incredibly magnetic. However, pay attention. There is a delicate balance here. Too much vulnerability, too soon, can destroy attraction. The key is dosage and timing. You don't open your heart completely on the first date. You offer calculated glimpses into your emotional depth, creating curiosity, so she wants to discover more. Captivating emotional narrative also includes the ability to evoke diverse emotions during the interaction. Moments of joy and laughter, alternated with deeper, more meaningful conversations. Moments of high energy, followed by moments of quiet connection. This emotional contrast creates a rich, multidimensional experience that stays etched in her memory. An important tip: practice identifying and articulating the emotions behind your life experiences. Most men, when telling a personal story, focus only on the facts. I did this, then that happened, then I decided that. A powerful emotional narrative includes how you felt at each stage. When I faced that challenge, initially I felt fear, then determination, and finally a deep sense of accomplishment. This ability to name and share emotions creates an intimacy that very few men can establish. And do you know what happens when you leave after an interaction like that? She continues to feel those emotions associated with you. You become the man who awakens something different, something deeper. If you are grasping the power of this third pillar and are already thinking about what personal stories you could share to create this deep emotional connection, comment below with the word narrative. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now to receive more content like this that will completely transform your ability to attract high-value women. Now let's move on to the fourth and final pillar, the one that ties everything together and creates a truly irresistible masculine presence. The fourth pillar, which completes this transformation, is what I call conscious sexual tension. This is the element that differentiates a platonic connection from a romantic connection charged with sexual magnetism. And this is precisely where most men fail miserably, even when applying other principles correctly. Conscious sexual tension is the art of communicating your romantic, sexual interest in a mature, confident, and unapologetic way, but simultaneously without pressure or desperation. It's the perfect balance between clearly showing your intentions and maintaining breathing room where attraction can grow naturally. The fatal mistake I observe repeatedly is that many men either completely hide their sexual interest, falling into the famous friend zone, or express it in a crude, invasive, or premature way, causing immediate repulsion. Conscious sexual tension perfectly navigates between these two extremes. I'm going to share a specific technique within this pillar, the triangular gazing method. During a conversation with a woman you desire, practice alternating your gaze between her eyes and her mouth, forming an imaginary triangle. This subtle eye pattern communicates romantic interest without words. Do this at specific moments in the conversation, especially when she is sharing something significant or when there is a moment of deeper connection. This eye pattern, when combined with relaxed and confident body language, creates a powerful subconscious communication. You are essentially saying, "I see you as a desirable woman. I am comfortable with my masculinity and my desire for you, but I am not anxious for results." Another fundamental aspect of conscious sexual tension is intentional touch. Touch is a language in itself, and the way you touch a woman during an interaction communicates volumes about your confidence, experience, and social awareness. Start with socially acceptable touches. Hand briefly on the shoulder to emphasize a point. Light touch on the arm during a moment of laughter, gently guiding her by the elbow when going through a door. Pay close attention to how she responds to these initial touches. If you notice receptiveness, she moves closer, reciprocates the touch, maintains physical contact longer than necessary. You can gradually escalate the intimacy of the touch, always with absolute awareness of her comfort, always ready to back off if you notice any hesitation. Conscious sexual tension also manifests in your voice. Practice varying the tone and pace of your speech. Moments of energy and enthusiasm alternated with moments where you speak softer, slower, looking directly into her eyes. This vocal variation creates a dynamic experience that maintains interest and, at the right moments, intensifies the connection. A crucial element of this pillar is strategic patience. Sexual tension is like a fire. It needs oxygen to grow, giving space for desire to develop, resisting the urge to rush physical interaction, knowing exactly when to move forward and when to retreat. This dance is the hallmark of a man who deeply understands female psychology. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of conscious sexual tension is communicating your desire without neediness. You clearly demonstrate that you desire her, but simultaneously communicate that your happiness and self-worth do not depend on the reciprocity of this desire. This combination, explicit desire with internal detachment, is incredibly attractive because it is incredibly rare. Most men either demonstrate desire with desperation, repulsive, or pretend indifference to protect their ego. Unexciting. Conscious sexual tension transcends these two limited approaches, creating a third way that is authentic, mature, and intensely magnetic. If you are starting to visualize how these four pillars work together to create a truly magnetic masculine presence, leave a like now. And if this content is illuminating aspects of female attraction you never understood before, share it with other men who could benefit from this transformation. I want you to understand something fundamental. These four pillars are not superficial techniques or manipulation tricks. They represent a genuine transformation of your masculine presence. When you embody absolute presence, intentional polarity, captivating emotional narrative, and conscious sexual tension, you are not faking being a more attractive man. You are becoming one. Now let's talk about implementation. How can you start incorporating these pillars into your life immediately? I'm going to share a 30-day action plan that will completely transform your ability to attract and connect with high-value women. During the first week, focus exclusively on the first pillar, absolute presence. In every social interaction, practice being completely present. Eliminate distractions, maintain appropriate eye contact, listen genuinely. Apply the 4-4-4 breathing technique before important conversations. At the end of each day, reflect on your interactions. At what moments did you lose your presence? What triggered that loss? How can you improve? In the second week, continue practicing the first pillar and add the second. Intentional polarity. Start observing situations where you can practice decisive and clear leadership. Make decisions with conviction. Take responsibility for situations. Practice the decision without hesitation technique in at least 3 different situations. In the third week, maintain the first 2 pillars and add the third. Captivating emotional narrative. Identify 3 personal stories that demonstrate your core values, overcoming challenges, and moments of growth. Refine these stories, making sure to include the emotional component. Share at least one of these stories in a social interaction, applying the strategic vulnerability technique. In the fourth week, integrate all 4 pillars, adding conscious sexual tension. Practice triangular gazing. Implement intentional touches when appropriate. Observe her feminine response to these techniques and adjust as needed. By the end of these 30 days, you will notice a remarkable transformation not only in how women respond to you, but in how you feel about yourself. This is the true magic of these 4 pillars. They not only transform your ability to attract women, but fundamentally elevate your masculine identity. If you are committed to this 30-day journey, comment below with the word committed. This will help me identify who is truly willing to do the work necessary for this transformation. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now and hit the bell icon to receive notifications of the next videos in this series, where I will delve deeper into each of these pillars with even more advanced techniques. Remember, what separates exceptionally attractive men from ordinary men is not genetics, money, or status. It is the masculine presence they consciously cultivate, a presence that communicates value, confidence, and authenticity without saying a single word. And you have just received the map to develop exactly this presence. Now, I want to share a critical observation about implementing these pillars. Many men make the mistake of trying to apply all these techniques simultaneously from day one. This usually leads to an overwhelmed and artificial experience. The gradual 30-day approach I shared is deliberately structured to allow you to integrate each pillar organically until they become second nature. Another common mistake is practicing these techniques only when they are interacting with women they want to attract. This creates a problematic dynamic where your masculine presence turns on and turns off depending on romantic interest. The true transformation occurs when you incorporate these pillars into all social interactions, with men, women you are not trying to attract, co-workers, family members. It is this constant cultivation that makes magnetic presence become authentic and natural. A critical aspect I need to address is patience. You will not become a master of female attraction overnight. There will be moments of frustration, interactions that don't go as planned, situations where you fall back into old patterns. This is completely normal and part of the process. What separates men who truly transform their ability to attract from those who give up is persistence in the face of these inevitable setbacks. I also want to emphasize something extremely important. All these pillars are based on absolute respect for female autonomy. Nothing I have shared is intended to manipulate, pressure, or disrespect women in any way. On the contrary, these pillars create a space where genuine connections can flourish based on authenticity, clear communication, and mutual interest. True mastery in the art of attraction is not about making a woman feel attracted to you against her will. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally awakens genuine interest. It's about personal elevation, not external manipulation. If you are gaining clarity on how these principles can transform not only your romantic interactions but your masculine presence as a whole, leave a like now. Your engagement helps this content reach more men who need this guidance. One last thought before we wrap up. Imagine what your life would be like if you never had to worry about rejection again, never felt that paralyzing anxiety when approaching an attractive woman, never again experienced the frustration of seeing other options chosen while you stand aside. Imagine the freedom of simply being yourself, confident in your ability to create meaningful connections with women you truly desire. This reality is within your reach. It is not an empty promise or a distant dream. It is the natural result of consciously implementing the 4 pillars I shared today. Hundreds of students have already gone through this transformation under my guidance. Ordinary men who became extraordinary in their ability to attract and maintain the interest of exceptional women. You can be the next to experience this transformation. It all starts with a decision, the decision not to accept mediocrity in your romantic interactions anymore. The decision to do the work necessary to become the man who naturally attracts what he desires. If you are ready to begin this journey, comment below with the word ready. If this video resonated deeply with you, share it with other men who could benefit from this message. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes in this series, where I will deepen each pillar with even more advanced strategies. Until the next video, keep cultivating your magnetic presence. The results will speak for themselves. Be the man she never forgets.